Hello everyone, it's Marie from Skeletorama again. Welcome back to my channel. So how's everybody today? We are on episode 5 now, and the riveting world of wallpaper templates, which I know on the surface is very boring, but it's very, very helpful when you go to wallpaper your house. If you're gonna paint, you can skip this, although we only do that for the first chunk of it. The rest of it's going to be making the entryways. So these right here. So anyways, that's what we got coming. So hope you enjoy. Okay, so this is done setting up, and I have removed the spacers. So this is what I'm left with here. So one of the other considerations that we have to have, again, is if we're going to be doing wallpaper, some of these are going to be a little tricky to try to measure and get the wallpaper correct for. So we're going to do it before we put it in the house. So we've got 2 of these. Each of these has this back side here that will have wallpaper on from the inside of the house and the side. So the fun thing is these 2 sides are going to be the same. As far as both of the pieces are concerned, they're both the same. So we only need to do 1 template for this, 1 template for the side. We're going to do the full back piece. This one we're going to go ahead and do the full thing, even though we may lose some because of a wall, but I think the wall may attach on the outside. So just be on the safe side. We're going to do the whole thing. If we need to cut it down, we can. Okay, so we're going to do it the same way we did for the addition. We're going to use paper for it. We're going to be very gentle with this, and we're going to see, does this fit on here? Not the whole thing. Rats. Okay, so we've got this bit here, and let's get our scissors. We'll go ahead and we'll cut this piece in half here, and we can put it here. What we're going to do is we're going to line all the edges up so that they're straight, and then we're going to use painter's tape, and we're going to tape it together, and then we will draw out the door from the other side. But for now, let's make sure this is lined up really good, and this is lined up. Go ahead and put our piece of tape here. Now I can already tell this break in it is going through the door, so we're gonna have to make sure it's taped real good up here. The same sort of thing. I've got my short edge here, so I'm gonna go ahead and line this up like so, and I'm gonna get this piece here and this piece here, so that way I make sure I don't accidentally cut off the piece that I need. The nice thing is I know this is lined up straight, so I can just cut right straight across that edge there, like here, in order to continue my template. Okay, so now this should fit perfectly onto here, and it does. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we are going to turn this over like so, and make sure everything is lined up. You see the edges around your paper. I'm going to take a pencil, and I'm going to draw out this door. Okay, and I'm going to take this, I'm going to move this over to the side. Before I do anything, I'm going to go ahead and tack these pieces from this side also, just to make my template a little more stable. Okay, this is the side that was touching the wall, so this is going to be the back of your paper. So I'm going to flip it over real quick on the side, because I know I'm not going to cut this away. I'm going to put front entry, front. So this is the side that I'm going to want my pattern on. Okay, this looks like it's probably symmetrical, but just in case it's not, I don't want to take that chance. So I'm going to cut this out as close as I can. If I'm going to mess it up, I'm going to mess up by leaving extra versus taking too much, just because that's how I do the paper too. Okay, so, and we will have a nice little stack of templates before too long. sure I got through that second piece. I don't think I did. Okay. And through here. And cut this way. When we go to do the wallpaper, we can have our template, trace it out, cut it out. We're already part way there. This I'm going to go ahead and save because as you see, we're going to have some small pieces in a minute. So waste not, want not. Okay, so this is our template. So if we're putting wallpaper on this surface and it's in the house, it's much easier to have this, cut the piece out, and then you can fit it from here. But see, it fits in there just fine. Okay, so that's template number 1. I'm going to stash these over to the side. Keep them all in the same area for when we go to do that. Okay, now we need to do one of the side pieces. So we're going to go ahead and just lay this down. I'm going to take this piece and I'm going to line it up so that it's level with the edges. I'm trying not to say square every 2 seconds, but it's probably not going to work. I should count the number of times I say square and the number of times I say flush when I'm building one of these. Okay, so we're just tracing that off. Cut it out. This one is a big square, so it is symmetrical, so it doesn't really matter which one is the front, because even if you cut it, even if you flip this over the wrong way and cut it, you're gonna be fine. So this little piece there, save that, and then we will take this, bring it back in, and verify that it fits, and it does. So that way, if it turns out that a wall attaches here or something, all we have to do is it's going to come out this way and we'll trim it, right? So we're good with that one. Set this up here to the side. Okay, I'm going to call this front, entry, side, and I'm going to put 2 on here each. So I know when I go to cut my paper for the inside, whatever it is, I'm going to need to cut 2 pieces of it to get the right side and the left side. Okay. Then we have some other pieces that we're not going to put together immediately, but we might as well do it while we have them out. And that is all of our bay window bases. Okay. So what these are going to do, we've got front base, side top base. This is the middle one. So these, for example, see, they're going to fit together like this and form part of your wall. Part of it's going to form an upper wall, part of it's going to form a lower wall on this. So what we need to do is we need to go ahead and get these now, because these are going to be part of a bay window, which is going to be really hard to get a template of when it's put together. But we know when it's put together that these flat bits that are left are the parts that we're going to need to cover. So we're going to go ahead and do templates for each of these pieces, and there are 6 different kinds. Okay, so we'll grab this little small one and start with it. Let's get the side a little more square though. Okay, so let's go ahead and do this for this one here. So this is the bay window front base. We can go ahead and write it on here too if we want. We'll wait. Okay, so I'm going to do this here. This one's a little trickier because it's got a lip on it. So let's go this way and we'll match it up like so. Okay, so now this top part will be straight. The other part won't. We'll get to that in a second. So let's take it here, and then you can kind of look at the angle that it is and trace off that side bit. Okay, so we got that. And we've got this. Move those so they don't get confused for it. And we're going to hold this here and go, okay, does this fit? Yes, it does. It's a little high on the top. I'll go ahead and just take a little tiny sliver off of the template so I didn't cut right at the pencil line. You have to account for, as I did not, I figured out why I kept having to take little slivers off of my baseboards, my crown moldings, because I forgot to account for the thickness of the pencil line. That is a thing that you have to pay attention to. Okay, so there we go. That's working good. So this is bay front base. And so on my sticky note, I noted how many of these there are. There's 2. So we'll just put a 2 right there so we know in general. They're going to be, you know, probably in different places and have different paper, but we'll know we're probably going to have to do at least 2. Okay, so we finish this one, put this one back. Set that to the side, and I will continue and do the rest of these real quick on fast forward. And as I hoped, these are the same size. So we're just going to do 1 for this. This one I've lost its little sticky note. So I know this is bay window. And I know there are, let's see, which one is that? There's 6 of these. I know it's mid. I'm betting since there's 3 of the front mid, this is probably the mid side. That's my guess. So hopefully it is. We'll be able to figure it out, obviously, but so we're just going to do 1 for that. There's 6 of these, and we need 2 each piece. Okay, because one will be for the upper floor, one's for the topper floor. Topper floor, that's not a thing. So we'll probably be able to do the same for this, which will be good. Actually, you know, I wonder, bay front base. Oh, it is. Okay, so the bay front middle is the same size. Let's see if the bay front top is the same size. Yay! Okay, bay front top. So we're just going to put bay front base, middle, top. Oops. So let's see, how many of these are there? Oh, there's a bunch of them. I don't know. We're just going to leave that there. Mid's 3. Top's probably 2. I don't know. It's my guess. I'm going to stick to that. Okay. So if we're really lucky, oh, let's hope we're really lucky. Yes, so they're the same. This one's like just a touch shorter, but that's fine. We can cut that off. So we're gonna leave that so we don't have a million of these. Same thing for this, same thing for this. Okay, perfect. So bay, mid side, side, base, and side top. Okay, so luckily we only need 2 of these then, so even better. The one that's going to be less fun is going to be the attic front. It's still going to be easy enough to do, but it's just going to take more paper basically. So because this will be a wall on the inside in the attic area. Now will it all be one piece? It might not. But we'll worry about that when we get to it, right? So for now, we are just going to take our paper, we're going to line it up along the edges here. Get this nice and straight. Get it straight on as many edges as you can while you look for your painter's tape because you don't remember where you put it. All right, so I got this here, this here. I'm going to go ahead and write attic front on there because we already know that's it. Now this is it. I can just take this and put that here. Yes. Okay. I will do that. That's one less thing I have to cut. All right. So there we go. We've got this. Do the same thing. I'm going to flip it over. I'm going to flip it over this way so I can see those parts. Make sure everything is good. It is. And then I'm just going to trace a line here, a line here, and I'm going to cut out this window. That's the important part right there. So again, take the scissors. And cut little edge there. We'll figure that out when we put it back on. And for the window part, I'm just going to grab my X-Acto and do it. It's much easier. See, every damn time I break the tip off of that. I didn't even press hard on it either. I don't know what's up with that. It's really annoying. All right, so I'm just going to cut around this window opening. I will do the same when it comes time to do the wallpaper for it too. I'll just use the X-Acto on it. It's much easier. I generally avoid circles and scissors. Never turns out well for me, really. Okay, so there we go. And so we can stabilize our pattern. I'll go ahead and put a little bit of painter's tape on this side too. That way it's easier to deal with when we go to trace it. All right, so let's bring our attic piece back in here. Here's the side we would want to cover. Here's our attic front. The key is, nope. Key is lining it back up the way it was. Jesus, there we go. My God. Okay, so there we are, and it looks good. This one's out a little bit, but there's probably going to be walls here that we'll have to account for. So there will be some trimming, but this will help it go a lot easier for us. Okay, so there's our attic one. And then we have our sides. The same kind of deal. These are easier just because they are nice and square. And we will check this. I have a suspicion that this just might be the same for both. If it is, we are in luck. So let's take this down. Again, this will definitely have walls on it, but this is the kind where, you know, when you put it in, you can trim it off like we did on the addition on the front and sand it down versus trying to, you know, cut and cut and cut until it fits. That piece here. Never fails too. The moment you move your hand, this thing goes right out of where it was. Okay. There we go. Get one more piece of paper. Cut a piece off here. And we'll line this up on this edge. So between this piece, let's get the factory cut edge because that'll be straight. Between this piece and the other side wall, these will be the same. But I'm just curious as if this and this are the same. If it is, and we only have one we need. All right. This taped here. And then just we'll tape this whole corner of stuff down here. Okay, so we've got side, top. Let's see if it fits the bottom. Please fit the bottom. Oh, it doesn't. Does it? Oh, it does. Okay. So top and bottom. Front. Okay, there we go. Even better. So we'll secure this a little bit more on this side. We have our template for that. So as I come across the different walls, like when we do the dividers are really important ones to have. Nice thing is you only have to do one template for it because then you just flip it over to get the reverse side. So, all right, so there is our side walls. This goes in our template pile. All right, then we just have a few more. We've got our gable triangle. Pretty sure that one will be one. So this one will be fairly easy. We just line it up here along the bottom and trace it. Okay, so Gable triangle. It may be that this doesn't need any paper, but we're going to do one just in case, because I'd rather have it and not need it than need it and not have it. Okay. And then these pieces that are the tower, I'm fairly sure we'll need wallpaper on the inside of it. So we can grab this here and we'll line it up on these two edges. And flip, and then reline it up because you slipped. And we'll just trace along here. We'll come trace along there. And this one I'm going to put on there and then I'll write which one it is, because yeah, I can see that getting messed up pretty easily. This is tower back right. Make sure that's on there good. It's a little tall, but we can adjust that one. Well, no, let's go ahead and do it now. It's got just a little sliver it needs off. There we go. Okay, perfect. So this is tower back right. Tower back right front. I'll do the same with these. Is this big enough for this? Oh, just barely not. Damn. Okay. Fine. So that, in theory, is all the ones that I know of that we may need now out of the batch that I have painted. So I'll put that in there, and we will move on to whatever our next step is, which is going to be out there, I believe, and we are going to start tracing some lines and things on the base so that we know where the one on the base is going to go, this piece, this, and then we'll be attaching it down, but we'll need to paint first. So I think for the porch and the base, we'll end up painting it out there because there's just more room. So I'll meet you guys out there. All right, so we are back out at the base. And so now the next step we're going to do is we need to figure out where this is going to sit, because this is going to attach to the base, right? So what we're going to do that is we are going to take our floor that we did. So remember, we have the stairwell thing is to the right. We'll line this up just like we had it when we set it up. Make sure everything is square. And then we are going to take our pencil and we are going to trace this. So first of all, part of this is going to become our porch, right? So we're going to want to paint our porch and we're going to want to paint our base. So once we take this off here, now we know where everything's going to sit. So when we go put this on here, this sits back and is centered on this. And then we get the room dividers, and we're just going to sit these here to use as spacers, basically. Okay, so these will sit along this wall here. Okay, and then this will go up against those, and it's going to sit centered on this thing that we just drew. Okay, so it's going to be right here. So for this, I think what I'll do is I'll get the dividers there and I'll kind of tape them down a little bit, just so they don't move as I'm trying to figure out where this is. Alright, so now we've got this here, we've got this centered on this, because this is what our floors are going to rest on, so this needs to be in the right place. And we're going to go ahead and trace this as well on here. Okay, so that's where that's going to go. So now we know, if we look at the picture, okay, see how you've got the porch here, and it's going to be this part and that part. So that's what we're just traced out there. So now we know to paint it. We can go just slightly over this line so that that way this front part's going to sit on that line and everything will be great. So we can untape the dividers here. So we don't need them yet. We're going to save our tape though, because there is a step where we'll need to tape those down while our front part is drying. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go off camera. I'm going to go ahead and paint this area here, this area here. I'm going to take the pencil mark off, because sometimes you can see it under the paint. And it's black, you shouldn't be able to, but I'm going to go ahead and do the porch black. And then they also advise doing that with the mid-floor. So put it back for a second. And this we're going to do twice, because the middle floor, this part that sticks out on the middle floor here, is not only going to be the porch of the upper floor, but on the underside it's going to be the ceiling that you're going to see from the bottom. So we're going to want the ceiling to be the house color. Before I do, I'm going to write P for porch on that, so I know which thing I'm painting, because it's on the right hand side. So this is the part that's going to be up. Put a C for C. Well, I can put a C and then I can erase it. So I'm not going to put a C because I'm using white paint. But anyway, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go, well, no, it's going to be the blue, but I'm going to paint this portion of it here in the house paint color. I'm going to go ahead and do this border. I think these other borders. Then I also need to do the ceilings and things. So before I start putting walls on top of stuff, if there's any ceiling paint you need to do, anything like that, this is probably the time to do it. So I will do that, and then I will show you guys what I did, and I'll get back to you. Okay, so just to show you, I've got the white paint out. I have this as the top floor, because you can tell it's only got one of the bay windows on it. So I'm going to do the ceiling. So normally it says when we have it this way that this is going to be on the right hand side, so I've made sure it's on the left hand side. And I'm going to go ahead and paint the ceiling of this piece, avoiding the very edges. Well, I mean, this is where it's going to glue in, so we should be good. But yeah, I'm going to go ahead and do the ceiling on this one. I'll do the ceiling on the mid-floor, with the exception of the part that we drew out. We'll do the porch ceiling on it. Then we'll flip it over. I will do the porch floor, and then I will do the base. Yeah. So this is going to be in white, porch ceiling is going to be house paint color, porch floor and regular porch floor and base are going to be in black. So see y'all at the end of that. right, so there is our first ceiling. I went ahead and did inside the stair hole just in case. It's much easier than trying to do that once you have your stairs in place. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this off of here. I'm going to give it a minute to kind of dry so that I can sit it over here without getting paint all over my floor. And then I will do the other floor the same way, except I'll stop short of the porch ceiling part and I'll knock that out real quick. But this is definitely going to need a second coat on it. So I'll probably sand it down a little bit and then add a second coat to it as well. So see you guys back in a bit. All right, so that's it for episode 5. So in the next one, we are going to be doing some actual construction, finally. So it only took us to episode 6 to get there. So I will see you guys there. Que me Bien Bye.